Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Baer, Vice President of Growth for EXP for the US. And I'm so excited to be live today with Clayton Gits. And we are going to learn about this amazing husband, father, entrepreneur, business owner, and mega agent. So, Clayton, thank you for being on the show today. How are you?
Doing amazing, man. Thanks so much for having me. I just realized I've been saying your name wrong for the past, 10 years. It's not beer. That's what I've been telling everybody. I apologize.
I've had that happen before.
I already learned something.
That's awesome. Well, Clayton, from the first time I met you, I absolutely just respected your opinion on this business and your integrity. So I am so excited to be partnered here at EXP with you. And hopefully today we can discuss something or say something that's going to change somebody's life that is watching this show right now. So Clayton, let me ask you, how did you get into real estate? Typically when I talk to agents, I don't find any that said when I was a child, I wanted to be a real estate agent. It's typically a life event or something happened. So how did you get into real estate?
Yeah. I actually love that question because, I assume that a lot of real estate agents got into the business for same reason that I did, Chris. So I bought my first house back in 2004, and I it just wasn't a great experience, and I kind of walked away from that experience. I was actually selling pharmaceuticals at the time, Chris, and that's how I met my wife. We were competitors, and so I buy my house, and I have this not so great experience, and I walk away from buying that house, and I said, you know what, if this person can make as much money as I knew he was making at the time, because he was a friend of mine, Chris, if he can make as much money as I know he's making, then I know that there's a need for a higher level of service in this industry, that the bar was not very, the bar was set low, right? So coming from a professional selling environment, I knew I could do it. It's kind of one of those things, like you look at people like, if he can do it or she can do it, so can I. So I jumped in 2005, and here we are.
I love it. So I did not know that is how you met your beautiful wife. So that's awesome. So was that one of those things, Clayton, if you can't beat them, join them?
That's probably another, that's probably another Zoom. She doesn't like for me to share that story, so we won't.
All right. Awesome. So you get into real estate. How did you start? Where did you start? That's a big thing. I mean, getting into real estate, a lot of times there's not a lot of education before you get your license. In many states, it's 30, 40, 50 hours, and you have your license now, and you're helping people with one of the largest transactions of their life. So where did you start, and how did that work for you?
Yeah, great question. So I had this experience with a friend of mine, and I decided basically to follow in his footsteps, Chris, because you don't know what you don't know. So in 2005, I jumped into real estate with a company called Long & Foster here in my market, a very large, a company, big brand in my market back then and even now. But I just assumed at the time that the brand was going to be responsible for the vehicle that would help facilitate my success. So I jumped in 2005 with Long & Foster. I sold 28 houses my first year, not having a clue what I was doing, like begging my friends and family, like, please. And fortunately, a few of them used me. But what I realized that first year is that all 28 of those transactions were, sphere of influence, people that I knew, and they knew me, they liked, they trusted, they respected me. And so that's how I got my start. And then in 2006, I was recruited by this new real estate company called, new in my market, Chris, called Keller Williams Realty. And it didn't take me long to realize that the value proposition at Keller Williams was better than it was at my original company. I was on a 50-50 kind of commission split with my company when I got in, Chris. And so the value proposition was just better. And what I love about this business, Chris, is that it really unlocked this entrepreneurial spirit that I didn't know that I had. So for me, it just became about, okay, if the value proposition is better over here than it is here, then here we go, right? So then I spent the next 12 years of my career with Keller Williams.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about that 12 years, though, because you're very successful. You had built, I mean, you became a very well recognized top agent in the nation. And then you made another move. So why that move and what's happened since then?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. I actually loved the first company that I worked for, Long and Foster. I mean, I respected the leadership. They were very good to me, right? Made a lot of friends there in the 9 months that I spent there. But again, I'm one of those people that I've always been open to, and I think, I share this with people all the time, Chris. I'm always open, brother. Like, show me your value proposition, and if it's something that I think is significantly bigger, if the value proposition is bigger than where I am, for me, for my team, for my family, then I'm absolutely going to take a hard look at it. So, my 12 years at Keller Williams. I went from me, myself, and I to 17 agents and staff and loved it. And Chris, I was Kellerized, brother. I loved my time at Keller Williams. I bought a franchise. I was personally responsible for attracting about 250 agents into what they call our profit share organization. I was residually earning well over $150,000 a year in what we called mailbox money. That was in addition, before I ever sold a house. So I had zero reason to leave that company. And again, loved it, loved the leadership, everything about it. But what happened was, to answer your question, Chris, in 2015, at the height of my real estate career, I was personally listing and selling about 85 to 90 homes a year, which is a lot, because you've been there, done that. I was literally trading all of my time for money, working 7 days a week. And, just always attached to this, couldn't go on vacation. I was never present with my family. I always love to tell people, one of my mentors said, he asked the question one day, he said, "Hey, what's the most important thing to you in your world, Clayton?" I said, "Easy, my faith and my family." He said, "Oh, that's neat. Let me see your calendar." And I was like,
"It must have stung a little bit, right?"
Yeah. What? And so, show him the calendar, and he's like, "Yeah, you're full of it, dude. The most important thing to you is clearly your job, because that's all I see represented. Yeah, there's 2 hours for church on Sunday, but everything else is your work. So you better, you need to fix your calendar." So I woke up one morning in 2015 at the peak of my real estate career, making a lot of money, Chris, like doing really well, but so I wake up and with a lazy eye one morning. And I don't know, if you can see this, Chris, but I have a lazy eye to begin with. So I wake up with this lazy eye, and I look like a pirate. It was like really pronounced. And I go to see a friend of mine who's an eye doctor, and he literally pulls my eyelid down, Chris, and he takes one look. He goes, "Clayton, I hate to tell you this, but what I see really looks like something called orbital lymphoma." And I said, "You mean like cancer?" And he said, "Yeah, I mean like cancer, Clayton." And I always share that, Chris, because up until that moment, I never considered, like, okay, if I can't do this business, or if I can't do any business, who's going to take care of my family? Like, who's going to take care of my team? And all these dreams and all these plans, like, what happens to all of that? I'd never considered any of that. So I ended up taking a year off from my business, and it was during that time that I did a lot of reading, a lot of soul searching, a lot of prayer, and that was when eXp Realty fell into my lap. It was my business coach, Chris. He knew what I wanted. He knew that I was searching for a model or a system that would allow me to own my business instead of the other way around. Because up until that point, as much money as I had as successful as I had, quote unquote, been, my business owned me. So I had no time with my family. I was, like I said, I was never present with my family, friends, all that. And so I just had this moment of clarity. I always tell people that, for me personally, Jesus didn't give me cancer, but what he gave me was clarity. And the clarity was, it doesn't matter how much money you make, Chris, if you can't spend it with the people that you say you're doing it for in the first place. So when eXp landed in my lap, I just, I just saw it. And when I saw it for the first time, September 2016, there were like 800 agents in the world with eXp. But what I saw was Netflix. What I saw was Uber. What I saw was Airbnb, Amazon. I saw the next iteration of the real estate model. And that's, I think, people always ask me, like, what have you done to do this and do that? I've just been open, man. I've just been open.
I love that.
So this model lands in my lap, and I couldn't get here fast enough. I could not get here fast enough.
So we talk about seeing the next model of real estate. And, one of our things here at EXP is being agent success obsessed. That's our core value here. And so Clayton, let's talk about that a little bit now. So how is your business running today? What does your team look like? What are your sales? How is the functionality of it? Do you have more time with your family?
Yeah.
This is what you wanted.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just, since you asked, I'll just lay it out there, Chris. So I was very, I went on a mission to try to figure out how to own a real estate business instead of the other way around. And I rebranded my company to Mission Realty, now brokered by EXP Realty. And so today, I own a real estate company that will do well over 300 transactions side this year. Now, that is because, Chris, I've just been incredibly blessed to surround myself with some amazing men and women that are scaling my business, basically without me. My real estate business runs better without me than it ever did with me. But
sometimes we got to get out of the way, right?
Mission accomplished. There's no question. Mission accomplished. So I spend 2 to 3 hours, depending on the week, 2 to 3 hours a week in my real estate business now, which allows me to focus on what I'm really passionate about. I always tell people that EXP gave me a platform to be able to do what I love to do, Chris. And that is help agents take their business, because we don't know what we don't know. A lot of agents get into this business and they get right into transaction mode. They have no idea, just like I did, how to run a business, certainly not how to own a business. And then they wake up 5-10 years later and they're stuck on this transaction treadmill. And that's not making a life, as far as I'm concerned. That's just,
I want to make sure we clarify, though. When you say 300 transactions this year, that's actual sales transactions from your agents there in your brokerage, correct? That's brokered by EXP.
Correct. So we have 22 agents and staff today, and we're scaling. Again, because I'm out of it, faster than we ever had, and so. Because of EXP Realty, and this is the piece that everybody always misses, Chris, because of the relationships, the way that this company, this model has financially brought us together as realtors, has aligned us as partners. Now I own a mortgage company because of somebody that I partnered with in my local market. He brought an opportunity to me. So now we do that. I own a title company. I own a real estate investment trust. And I own a real estate agent attraction company. Like I love telling people about this opportunity, and it's really interesting. I always tell people, like, when I was with Keller Williams, Chris, I always used to again, we don't know what we don't know. So I would be at KW and I'd be talking to an agent with fill in the blank, right? Yeah. And if they didn't see what I saw, I'm like, what? Why could you, like, how could you not see this? But I get it, and it's the same way at EXP. I always tell people, man, you just take a look. Question everything that you've been taught, everything that you know with boldness, and just like take a look, find out for yourself. And this has been such a game-changing, life-changing experience for my team, for me, for my family. And it always, when I tell people about it now, Chris, the most common thing that I get is, too good to be true, man.
Yeah.
Too good to be true. And I'm like, I've been here for 3 years and 8 months. I'm telling you, it's not. And let me just, I have to share this. So from a culture perspective, it was last week, and it actually made me emotional when this happened. It was the president of our company. One of our agents had an issue, and it was not an insignificant issue. And it was something that should have and could have been avoided. And the president of our company, Dave Kennard, stepped up and did the right thing in a massive way, in a way that I will never. It makes me emotional to think about it, because I've never had anyone that man. It was. He didn't have to do what he did, but he not only fixed it, but he fixed it in such a way where the agent that I'm partnered with was like, bro, this. I mean, it sealed the deal for me. The leadership with this company is so agent focused. It just makes me proud to be partnered with you and with everyone else here.
Well, it's a very mutual feeling there, Clayton, and I am just so impressed in what you've accomplished and what you're doing to help agents and improve their lives every day. And I love how you said about money and time. We can always make more money, but we can't make more time. And that is so powerful. And I hope everybody that's watching this, please, your loved ones, embrace them. Make time for them. There'll always be more opportunity to succeed or for success. But we don't know how much opportunity we have with time with our loved ones. So Clayton, as we're wrapping up this show today, can you share with us something that someone has shared with you, maybe a mentor or a coach, or something that you learned while you were on your way up this ladder of success of what you've been able to accomplish that could help someone that's maybe just getting into real estate, or maybe they're feeling stuck where they are and they're looking for that next avenue. They want to grow bigger. They just don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, I have to go back to one of my early mentors because it's something that I think about all the time, Chris. And it's, don't wish things were easier. Wish you were better. For things to change, we've got to change, man. And if I realized early on that when I was stuck, it wasn't because of any external force, Chris. It was all at the guy that was looking back at me. It was because of the guy looking back at me in the mirror. So, I love what Rohn used to say. And of course, Tony says it now in a different way. It's man, for things to change, you got to change. So if you're stuck, then, you got to look at your habits, and what you're doing on a daily basis is either moving you in a direction where you are elevating yourself on a daily basis, or it's keeping you held right where you are, or worse, it's sending you in the wrong direction. So that's number one. And number two, and I know you didn't ask me for two, but I'm going to give it to you.
I'll take it.
Is surrounding yourself with people that are there.
I love it.
Surrounding yourself with people that are there. So my wife and I very intentionally seek out next level relationships because a rising tide raises all ships. It's one of the beautiful things about this company is you get to spend time with ballers. And I'm not just talking about making money, about professionally. I'm talking about spiritually, physically, relationally, for our significant others, for our kids. Like, we are spending time with people, not just at EXP. Like this is like, you want to improve, go hang out with people that are where you want to be. Period.
I love that. We become our closest 5 influences, right? Yeah. Well, Clayton, thank you so much for being on this show today. Everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. I hope something was said that's going to help you elevate to the next level. And we'll be back next week at Tuesday at 2:00 with another amazing agent interview here at EXP. Everybody have a great week.